My child, stop scrolling. I brought you here on purpose. The moment your eyes landed here, heaven leaned in. Because I, the Lord your God, have something urgent to deliver straight into your spirit. This isn't just good news. This is your confirmation. This is the moment I've orchestrated behind the scenes, through storms, through silence, through every second you thought I wasn't listening. And now, I'm speaking directly to you. Don't you dare click away. Don't treat this like another voice in a sea of noise. This word carries weight. It carries answers. It carries the turning point your soul has been begging for in secret. So listen with your heart wide open. Watch like your breakthrough depends on it. Because it does, my beloved child, right now. Everything around you may be swirling, demands, distractions, emotions, pressing in from every angle. But I am calling for a sacred stillness in this moment. Because this isn't just another word, another line of encouragement floating past your weary eyes. This is me, your Father, your Creator, your Redeemer. And I am speaking directly to the tender places of your spirit that have longed to be seen without having to explain to be known, without having to prove. This pause is not accidental. It is divinely timed. I have arranged all of heaven's attention toward this exact second in your story. You were drawn here not by curiosity, not by routine, but by my orchestration. There is a frequency in the spirit that only your heart could detect. And it led you right here into the middle of my voice, into the center of my presence. You've wondered if you've missed me. You've looked at other people's lives and questioned whether my goodness has passed over your address. But I tell you now, heaven has not forgotten you. I have carved this moment into the eternal timeline with your name etched in gold. It was reserved for you and only you. I did not send this word as a mass message. I sent it as a heartbeat, a personal, intentional rhythm that matches the cadence of your spirit when it weeps alone. I have watched every moment of your heartbroken silence. I've stood in the shadows of your deepest questions. And now I say, lean in. Don't scroll past me. Don't treat this divine whisper like just another wave on the shore. Because what I am doing in you today has the power to shift more than your emotions. It has the power to reroute your destiny. This is not comfort for a moment. This is confirmation for a lifetime. I want you to understand something holy. You are not here by accident, and you are not hearing me by coincidence. The atmosphere around you has been stirred for days, perhaps weeks, and you didn't know why. But I've been pressing gently, waiting for your spirit to notice me again, in a fresh way. That urgency you couldn't name, that sudden pull toward the unseen, that was me breathing through your questions, whispering through your weariness. The reason I ask you to pause is because I'm not merely giving you another encouragement. I'm aligning you with the good news that has already been released. You've asked for a breakthrough. But child, what I am doing now is more than a breakthrough. It's a birthing. I'm delivering something into your life that has been growing in the unseen realms, nurtured by your faith, watered by your tears, protected by my angels, while you slept through storms. Let me speak plainly. I didn't allow you to survive what you did just so you could return to normal. I preserved you for this precise moment, when my glory would begin to rise from the ashes of everything you thought had ended. This isn't random. This is restoration. This is me keeping covenant, not just with your prayers, but with your bloodline, your purpose, your future. I've not forgotten the things you whispered to me when you had no strength left to believe out loud. I saw the flicker of faith remain when the fire around you tried to suffocate every last hope. I am the God who remembers. I am the God who restores. I am the God who interrupts timelines to make room for a surrendered heart. That's why you're here. That's why I'm speaking now. Because the heavens are in motion, and the good news you long for is already standing at your door, open wide. This pause isn't empty. It's sacred. The message has arrived, and it is clothed in my glory, written in love and sealed with the signature of the one who never left your side. Do you really think this moment is ordinary? Do you think this encounter was casually placed in your day like any other moment of inspiration? Oh, this is the second that was stitched into the tapestry of time before time began. I didn't permit you to stumble. I positioned you to arrive. Every breath you've taken, every seemingly meaningless step, every delay, every detour, even the heartbreaks. You didn't understand. They were all part of this precise divine alignment. I know there were times you questioned whether your journey had a direction, whether your pain had a purpose, or if your prayers had become lost in the chaos. But hear me now. I never lost track of you. Not for a second. While you doubted your steps, I was divinely choreographing a crescendo of convergence that leads to right here. Right now, this is not a moment to take lightly. This is the precise second the heavens leaned low. And I, your God, released something that's been held in sacred suspense just for you, and not a moment too soon. You see, I didn't just plan your destination. I authored your journey. And because I love you so fiercely, I embedded within your timeline treasures that could only be unlocked through surrender and trust. You wondered why I let the waiting linger, why the breakthrough tarried just beyond reach. It was not punishment. It was preparation. Repair, child. Dishonor carries glory, and it's written in your name. My beloved, I know what it feels like when time stretches long and silence stretches longer. I know how easily your heart has wrestled with the aching question, why hasn't it happened yet? You've seen others leap ahead, receive, rejoice, run, and you stood in the shadows, quietly wondering if I passed over your name, if I misplaced your file in the throne room, if perhaps my promise was just a poetic idea and not a living intention. But I need you to hear me clearly now. Heaven is not slow. Heaven does not hesitate in fear. Heaven does not operate in confusion. Heaven is not reacting. It is responding. And its response is always rooted in strategy, not speed. What you thought was delay, I have been using as divine timing. What you call being overlooked, I called being reserved for the right reveal. You've watched others step into moments that looked like what you asked me for, and you celebrated, but quietly wondered if maybe they were more ready, more worthy, more favored. But child, my release is not random. It is not for the masses. It is for the marked, and you are marked not by man but by me. Your name is not in a pile. It is on a plan, a blueprint that has been unfolding with sacred precision. And the reason you haven't seen it yet is not because it wasn't coming, but because I've been waiting for you to believe this moment wasn't made for someone like you. It was made for you. This isn't a generic promise. It's a God-sealed prophecy, tailored to the thread of your personal calling. The moment your faith shifts from maybe someday to yes, Lord, now here for me, is the moment the vault of my provision swings open. Let me be direct. The heavens are moving now. The machinery of the miraculous is in motion. Angels are responding not to vague prayers, but to activated faith. Faith that says this word is mine. This season is mine. This shift has my name written in fire. I am not teasing you with proximity. I am inviting you into possession. The release is not stuck in the skies. It is already descending into your timeline, but it requires alignment. Your belief must align with my declaration. Your agreement must echo what heaven is announcing. Because faith isn't just hope, it's a key. And when a key turns in the lock of your heart, everything changes. That is why I have spoken this so personally, because I needed you to stop seeing yourself as a spectator and start standing as the recipient. Stop scanning the crowd, child. I'm speaking to you. So now believe boldly, not with borrowed confidence or borrowed language, but with your own voice. Let your spirit say yes, fully, finally, ferociously. This isn't a random rain of blessing. It's a downpour destined for your field. And once you believe it's for you, the floodgates respond. You don't have to qualify yourself. I already did. You don't have to beg. I already decided. This is not the moment to stay in the shadows of maybe. This is your unveiling. This is your now. Heaven is not slow. It's strategic. And today the strategy concludes. The release begins as yours. And now, child, as I open heaven over your life, I call you to help me open it over others. This word, this good news you've just received, was never meant to stop with you. I'm calling forth givers, sowers, and kingdom igniters, because when you sow into my word, you don't just give. You ignite harvests. You send manna into spiritual deserts. You become a river of living water to souls crying out for a lifeline. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. I say to you now, Proverbs 11:25. So if your spirit is burning to help carry this message further, give through membership or the PayPal link below. Do it now. Don't delay. Sow into the soil of my word and watch how I pour back into you. Let me lift the lie that's lingered over your spirit for too long. The lie that whispers you missed it. That voice has kept you frozen in regret, retracing paths in your memory, trying to find the moment you believe you took the wrong turn, missed the right cue, or messed up the map. But I say this now, with all the authority of the one who wrote your timeline. You have not missed your turn. You haven't fallen behind. You haven't forfeited your future. You haven't been passed by. You've been prepared. What you thought was missed opportunity was actually a maturing process. I didn't cancel the blessing. I cultivated you until you were ready to carry it with strength and not crumble under its weight. You see, blessings are not toys. They are tools. They are sacred assignments wrapped in glory. And I love you too much to give you something too soon that would collapse your spirit or compromise your calling. So yes, I paused, I waited, I watched, I refined. I deepened the roots beneath the soil so the fruit above would be sustained. The version of you that asked for the promise was faithful, but the version of you that's about to receive it is fortified. You've been shaped, stretched, sanded, sanctified. You've been matured in the mystery and purified in the pressure. And now the blessing I'm about to release doesn't just excite your heart. It fits your spirit. It belongs with you. It was tailored for your now, not your then. Let this truth resound. I don't rush what I love. I don't deliver prematurely. I develop fully. And that's what I've done with you. Every delay, every detour, every detachment from what you thought you needed, it was all part of my shaping. And now that the vessel is ready, the blessing is being released. You no longer have to chase it. It's chasing you. You no longer have to manipulate moments to find favor. Favor has found you. You're about to step into what you once could only imagine. Not because you forced the timing, but because you surrendered to the process. And that surrender has sculpted you into someone who doesn't just want the blessing, but someone who can carry it with authority, with humility, with purity. So release regret. Let go of the what-ifs. They no longer serve your story. The only thing you missed was a version of yourself that wasn't yet ready. But now you are. You've matured into the moment you prayed for. The promise fits. The calling aligns. The assignment is activated. You haven't been forgotten. You've been forged. And this is the hour where everything converges. You haven't missed your turn. You've become it. My child, I've watched you live in quiet obedience. I've seen you walk through seasons where your growth was invisible to everyone but me. The world saw your stillness, your silence, your waiting, but I saw your war. I saw how you surrendered again and again even when you had every reason to retreat. I saw you choose hiddenness over hype depth, over display routes, over recognition. And now I speak to that version of you, the one who has bloomed in the dark, fought in the quiet, healed in the hidden. I am bringing you into the light. This is not just about visibility. This is about unveiling. What I've been building inside you is too heavy, too holy, too filled with glory to stay buried beneath the soil of obscurity. The time has come, not for performance but for presence, not for spotlight but for significance. I am calling you out, not for attention but for assignment. You didn't force your way here. You didn't demand the stage. You didn't chase applause. That's why I'm trusting you with influence that doesn't fracture. I'm giving you visibility that doesn't corrupt because I've watched how you stewarded the unseen. I've watched you remain faithful in rooms no one else entered. I've watched you wrestle with me in the midnight hours while others slept. And I've stored every sacred moment like precious oil in heaven's vault. Now I pour that oil out over you, not as a reward, but as a release. I will release a visibility that's rooted in identity. I'm elevating what I've established. I'm revealing what I've refined. And child, I'm starting with you, not because you sought it, but because you're surrendered enough to carry it. You are not rising into fame. You are rising into fulfillment, into purpose, into prominence. Yes, but prominence that points back to me. Let me speak clearly. What I've done in you is uncontainable. You've outgrown the quiet confines of the former season. You've expanded in the spirit, and now the external must reflect the internal. I've spoken your name into places your feet haven't walked yet. I've highlighted your obedience in rooms of influence and prepared hearts to recognize what I've placed upon you. This will feel sudden, but it's not. It is strategized and it's sacred. I'm pulling back the veil, not just on your gift, but on your journey, so others may see what grace really looks like when it carries someone through the fire. Your scars will shine. Your story will speak. Your breakthrough will blaze like a signal in the darkness for others still waiting in their silent battles. So don't shrink back. Don't apologize for the space I'm giving you. Don't doubt the doors I'm opening. You don't need to explain the elevation. I will validate it myself. I have raised you in secret, and now I will reveal you in glory. The unveiling begins not just with what you do, but with who you are. You are my vessel, my voice, my evidence. And now I bring you out of hiding, not for your fame, but for my fire to be seen in you. What was once hidden will now testify, and it starts with you, child. Let me ease the tension that's tried to entangle your heart, the pressure, the unspoken fear that someone else's rise means your fall, that if they got there first, it means you've been left behind. And that is not the language of heaven. That's the noise of comparison, the toxin of this world trying to pollute the purity of your calling. But I tell you now, there is no competition in my kingdom, and I do not divide destiny. I do not recycle purpose. I do not compare children. I complete them. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not in the shadow. I haven't overlooked your name. I've carved out a lane for you so distinct, so divine, so drenched in your DNA that no one else can run it, not even if they tried. I know what you've seen. I know how social timelines can scream louder than spiritual ones. I know how it looks like everyone is accelerating while you're in slow motion. But child, you don't need to copy anyone else's blueprint when I've given you your own. You don't need to chase someone else's promise when yours is still coming with your name etched in eternity. Their rise is not your rejection. Their celebration does not cancel your season. In fact, every time I bless another, it's evidence that I'm in the neighborhood, and you are next in line. But the line is not about competition. It's about confirmation. You are not waiting because I'm indecisive. You are waiting because your lane has been cleared. And I am ensuring nothing interferes with what I've assigned for you. Your portion is untouched. It hasn't been rerouted. It hasn't been diminished. It hasn't been diluted. What I wrote over your life is still intact, still active, still on schedule. And what's more, no one else can have it. Not because I'm possessive, but because I'm precise. The promise I wrote for you fits your spirit. It matches your mantle. It responds to the frequency of your faith. And even when doubt whispered that it was too late, I held it in place like a sacred inheritance, waiting for the exact moment your heart would be ready to believe again. That moment is now, not when you perform, not when you prove yourself, but now right here in the space between past frustration and future fulfillment. Right here in the soil of surrender. So breathe deep, child. Shake off the lies, silence the inner critic that says you've missed too much, that you should be further along, that others have already taken your seat at the table. No one can take what I've prepared for you, and no one can run in a lane that's locked to your spirit, and no one can carry the weight of what I've been growing inside you. This is the season where you rest in the truth that the kingdom is not about racing. It's about revealing, and now your lane is opening, your portion is awakening, and your moment is coming. Not in competition, but in completion. My beloved child, come close. I need to speak something so tender, so sacred, that only stillness will allow you to receive it. You've believed a lie subtly, quietly, without meaning to. A lie that crept in through years of rejection, silence, delays, and disappointment. A lie that you are difficult to love, difficult to understand, difficult to bless. You've internalized moments of abandonment as if they were reflections of your worth. You've measured your identity by the reactions of wounded people, and slowly, A narrative formed in the shadows of your soul that said, maybe I'm just too much, or maybe I'm not enough. But hear me now. I did not create you to be tolerated. I designed you to be celebrated. You are not hard to bless. You are my delight. You are not a burden to carry. You are a masterpiece to unveil. And I am unraveling every lie that ever told you otherwise. You see, you've been looking to broken mirrors to reflect your value. You've waited for certain people to approve you, thinking that once they accept you, then maybe you're truly lovable, truly seen, truly chosen. But those voices weren't equipped to validate you because they didn't author you. I did, and I never made you to be ordinary. I never shaped you to fit molds built by fear. I made you distinct, woven with wonder, shaped by purpose, kissed by glory. And that uniqueness was never meant to be diluted, to make others comfortable. The problem was never that you were too much or not enough. The problem was you were asking people for confirmation in places where I already gave you covenant. You were waiting for earthly echo to validate a heavenly decree. And now, I'm tearing down every false agreement, every inner vow, every silent contract you made with rejection. I'm breaking them, all of them right now. Child, listen to my voice, the voice that formed your bones and offered your breath. You are easy to bless, not because you're perfect, but because you're mine. You are easy to love, not because you've never failed, but because my love doesn't calculate worth based on performance. You are not behind. You are not too broken. You are not too loud, too quiet, too sensitive, too intense. You are perfectly positioned for the outpouring I have reserved for your name. And the more you believe this truth, the more heaven's blessings will flow freely, fiercely, faithfully. Because I don't bless potential, I bless identity. And your identity is not based on past pain, it's based on present promise. So breathe, daughter. Exhale, son. You don't need to keep chasing voices that weren't meant to name you. I named you. I called you before time began. I shaped every fiber of your being with celebration in my heart. You are not hard to love. You are held in love, and you are not difficult to bless. You were designed for favor and unending blessing. And the time of mistaken identity is over. Now begins the revealing. And what I see when I look at you isn't a problem to fix. It's a wonder to unfold. My child, I know how much you want clarity. I know how deeply your heart craves understanding to connect all the dots, to make sense of what broke, what shifted, what stayed silent. You've been taught that if you could just understand it, you could finally have peace. But I am calling you to something deeper than understanding. I am calling you to trust. Not blind trust, not naive surrender, but anchored, rooted, holy trust. Trust that doesn't wait for evidence but rests in who I am. Because clarity may soothe the mind, but trust anchors the soul. And it's trust, not explanation, that will carry you into the next dimension I've prepared for you. You said to me, Lord, I just need to know why. But child, if I showed you the full map, you'd try to reroute it. If I explained every detail of the wilderness, you'd try to avoid the very ground I've anointed for your breakthrough. There are some battles that don't make sense until the victory. There are some stories that only gain meaning in hindsight. And right now I need you to walk, not with complete understanding, but with complete confidence. Not in what you see, but in who I am. You may not know the next step, but you know me. And that is enough, because I'm not just giving you direction. I am the way. I'm not just answering your questions. I am the answer. And I'm not just lighting your path. I am walking it with you. You see, the enemy wants you tangled in confusion. He wants you stuck in the paralysis of overthinking, trying to calculate your next move based on fear and what-ifs. But I'm calling you into the rhythm of peace. A peace that passes understanding, not explains it. A peace that says, even here, even now, even without all the answers, I trust you. Because that kind of trust moves mountains. That kind of trust opens doors that logic can't. That kind of trust unlocks realms of favor and acceleration that no strategy could orchestrate. Trust doesn't mean you stop asking me questions. It means you stop needing every answer before you move. And I honor that kind of faith more than you know. So let go of needing to have it all figured out. Let go of the pressure to be your own guide. That was never your role. I never asked you to be the cartographer of your future. I asked you to be the follower of my footsteps. I asked you to trust when it didn't make sense, to believe when the road got dark, to move even when the destination felt invisible. And now, child, as you lean into that trust, you will find me closer than ever. You'll feel my presence in the pause. You will hear my whisper in the quiet. And you will watch as peace becomes your compass. I didn't promise understanding in every season, but I promised myself. And I always keep my word. So trust me, not because you understand everything, but because you know me. And that is what will carry you now and always. My child, come into stillness for this one. Breathe. Set down the lists, the timelines, the imagined milestones you thought you had to meet to be ready. Set down the questions that circle endlessly in your head. Have I done enough? Prayed enough? Changed enough? I hear the undertone behind your prayers, the ache of a heart that quietly wonders if my promise depends on your performance. But hear me now in the deepest part of your spirit. I'm not blessing performance. I'm blessing presence. What I am doing next in your life does not flow from your effort. It flows from your proximity. I am not calling for your perfection. I am calling for your presence, to show up, to be with me, to make room for me in the middle of your mess, not just after you've cleaned it up. You've been conditioned by people systems and culture to believe blessing is earned, like a wage, a reward, a stamp of approval given only to those who impress. And so you've tried. You've fasted with desperate intensity, studied with trembling urgency, served with sacrificial hope. And while I've seen and honored every moment of that devotion, I want to remind you, my favor isn't a paycheck. It's an inheritance. It doesn't come to the qualified. It comes to the called, and you, child, are called. You are named, known, and wanted, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. And I've chosen to dwell with you. You don't have to earn my presence, you carry it. You don't have to prove your worth. I prove it in my love the moment I bled for your name. So here is the truth. What's coming next will not make sense in the metrics of performance. It will offend those who measure favor by effort. But that's how I move, by grace. And grace disrupts every economy of self-righteousness. I am moving in such a way that even the disqualified will be qualified. Not because they checked every religious box, but because they showed up with a surrendered heart. That's all I'm asking of you. Be present. When the miracle unfolds, be present. When the conversation opens, be present. When the invitation is extended, when the oil starts to pour, when the timing aligns, don't question if you're worthy. Just be there. Just receive. Just lift your hands and let the blessing rest on you. Not because you chased it down, but because you were available when it arrived. So come boldly, not as an employee waiting for evaluation, but as a child stepping into a room where your name is already on the seat. You don't need to be more to receive. You just need to be here, fully, honestly, completely. My blessing is not responding to your checklist. It's responding to your closeness. I'm not watching your performance. I'm watching your posture. And when I see you open, raw, surrendered, I pour out what no one else can earn. I'm blessing presence. Yours. Right here. Right now. Let me show you what you've been carrying without even realizing it. Look at your hands. Not with the eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of the Spirit. What you see may appear ordinary, tired, trembling, unsure, but I see differently. I see hands that hold keys, not just symbolic ones, spiritual ones. Real authority, real access, real breakthrough. I placed them in your hands during moments of surrender, moments of silence, moments of obedience, when you thought nothing was shifting. Every time you said yes to me in secret, a key was placed. Every time you forgave instead of retaliated, trusted instead of doubted, stayed. When you could have left, I placed another key. And now the time has come not to collect more keys, but to use the ones you already have. Fear has lied to you. It told you certain doors were closed forever. Doors of opportunity, reconciliation, healing provision. Fear whispered that part of your life is done. Move on. It's locked. And for a while, you believed it. You stood in front of doors marked impossible, too late, not for you. and you backed away assuming the lock was stronger than the promise. But I tell you now, you already carry what opens it. The very thing you've avoided is the thing I've anointed you to unlock. The door you thought was sealed was actually waiting for the sound of your faith, and now, child, your hands are trembling. Not from weakness, but from readiness. Because heaven has synchronized this moment for one reason. It's unlocking time. But listen closely. These aren't ordinary doors. These are generational gates. These are inheritance vaults. These are revival rooms you've been praying for, without knowing the full weight of what they hold. What's behind them isn't just for you, it is for your bloodline. It's for the ones connected to your obedience. When you unlock it, favor spills over not just in your life, but into atmospheres around you. Your yes is the access point. Your trust is the currency. Your voice is the key code. And when you step toward what fear said was locked, and lift your hand to the door, out of promise with faith in your grip, I will meet you there. I will turn the tumblers. I will swing the gate wide. And what you once assumed was unreachable will flood your life like a river released from captivity. This is not theory. This is reality. Supernatural doors are swinging open. Healing doors. Favor doors. Restoration. Doors. Ministry. Doors. Financial doors. Relationship doors. Clarity doors. And some will not look like doors at first. They'll look like disruptions. But as you lean into me, you'll recognize them for what they are: divine thresholds. You'll see me standing on the other side, smiling, saying, I've waited for this moment, for you to realize what you've always had. You're not at the mercy of what man opens or closes. You're walking in kingdom authority. You carry keys, and now you use them. What's behind the next door will change everything. And it's time. My beloved child, listen to me, not with ears of doubt, but with ears of your spirit. I know you've asked more than once in the privacy of your pain. Did you forget about me? You didn't ask it in anger, but in ache. In those quiet moments, when you watched others get called forward. When the silence in your own life grew louder than any prayer you could muster. And though you nodded politely, when people told you just keep waiting, something inside, you whispered, but what if I was overlooked? What if the miracle missed me? Now hear me clearly. You were never forgotten. You were always factored in. Every moment of delay, every detour, every loss, every longing, every invisible victory, it's all been accounted for. Not one tear wasted, not one breath unnoticed. You know how carefully I've crafted the miracle I'm preparing for you. It's not a rushed solution. It's not a leftover blessing. It's a tailored testimony. I factored in your childhood wounds. I factored in the time you lost to grief and the relationships that left scars. I factored in your weaknesses, your history, your weariness, and even your doubts. The blueprint of your breakthrough isn't perfect because you're perfect. It's perfect because I am. I didn't just promise to work all things for good. I designed your life to prove it. Every step you thought was wasted was woven into the miracle timeline. And just because you couldn't see what I was building doesn't mean construction wasn't happening. Even in the silence, I was scripting glory. Even in the pain, I was positioning purpose. Even in the shadows, I was spotlighting what the world would soon see. Child, I didn't forget you. When the opportunity passed by, I was shielding you from what your spirit wasn't ready for yet. I didn't abandon you when the door slammed shut. I was fortifying you, so that when the right door opens, you won't hesitate to walk through it with boldness. And now the miracle that's been growing quietly in the womb of waiting is nearing birth. But it won't come the way you expect. It won't look like a replay of someone else's story. This is unique. This is personal. This is prophetic, because it's been factored specifically for you. I am the God who multiplies even what was broken. I am the God who aligns everything, even your missteps, into momentum. And the time is drawing near. What you thought had bypassed you is circling back around. What you thought was denied is being delivered. So don't despair. Don't sink into comparison. Don't let silence convince you I'm absent. I've been working behind every delay, designing a miracle that holds your exact dimensions. You haven't been skipped. You've been sculpted for this moment. And when it arrives, you'll see just how detailed I am, how specific, how intentional. You will look back at the pages of pain and realize every line had a purpose. You are not forgotten. You are factored in, and heaven's countdown is already in motion. Come here, child, closer than you've dared to come in a while, because I want to touch the part of your heart you've tried to protect. That sacred place where the deepest hurt resides. You've done your best to heal, to forgive, to move on. And yet, if you're honest, there's still a bruise, not always visible but undeniably there. You've said I'm okay now, and yet you've looked at areas of your life, relationships that fractured opportunities, that fell apart, time that was stolen, and thought, well, that part's just gone now. The chapter is closed. The door is sealed forever. But I say to you now, with the full authority of heaven's throne, nothing will be wasted. I'm not just healing the pain. I'm redeeming the portion. I'm restoring what you thought was lost beyond repair. I know what they did. I know what you lost. I know the betrayal that knocked the wind from your soul. I know how deeply it cut when you were left without explanation. I know how you questioned yourself, replayed conversations, tried to make sense of the senseless. But child, I want you to hear me. None of that escaped my view. I didn't cause the wound, but I will transform it, because I am the Redeemer, not just of sin, but of stories. I redeem everything: time, energy, seasons that slip through your fingers, opportunities that were stolen by the hands of others or sabotaged by your own fear. Everything. When I heal, I don't just stitch the wound. I rewrite the aftermath. I restore the years. I reverse the narrative. I resurrect what was buried too soon. This is not just healing. It is redemption. What does that mean? It means I'm going to use what hurt you to unlock what's holy. It means I'm going to turn that detour into a destiny encounter. It means I'm going to take the time you thought was wasted and multiply it in the days ahead. You didn't lose years. You gained roots. You didn't lose opportunity. You gained oil. And now I'm about to pour it out. Not in the old places, but in the new spaces I've prepared. The ones shaped by surrender, not striving. The ones marked by glory, not grief, because I refuse to let pain be the final punctuation of your story. Your testimony is still unfolding, and the next chapter will trump trauma. It will trump triumph. Don't sit in resignation. Don't tell yourself this is as good as it gets. No, child, not with me. I don't stop at recovery. I finish at redemption. I restore better than before. And you're about to see me prove it. I will make it up to you, not because you earned it, but because I'm good. Not because you deserve it, but because I'm just. What was stolen will be repaid. What was broken will be rebuilt. What was lost will be replaced and multiplied. I'm not just healing what hurt you. I'm redeeming what you thought you lost. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will be wasted. Child, you've been so strong for so long. You've carried burdens without complaint, shouldered expectations without relief, and walked through spiritual deserts with a quiet, aching resolve. You've told yourself, I've got this. I can handle it. No one else needs to know. You've become the strong one in so many rooms, the safe place for others, the one who holds space, gives grace, and never asks for much in return. But today I am stepping in, not just as your God, but as your Father. And I say to you now with all the love in my voice, you were never meant to carry that alone. What's been weighing on your soul in silence has not gone unnoticed. What's been building inside without outlet or comfort I have seen, and I refuse to let you bear it alone one more moment. Let me remind you, I never asked you to be your own savior. I never asked you to hold it all together. That pressure, that exhaustion, that chronic heaviness, it is not proof of strength. It's a cry for divine intervention, and I've answered. Even now there are angels assigned to what you thought was solely your responsibility. You didn't see them, but they were there, standing guard in rooms where your heart was breaking, redirecting accidents, shielding your mind in moments you nearly snapped. They've been sent to handle what your hands can't, to carry what your shoulders were never built to bear. You were created for intimacy, not isolation. You were called to rest, not constant responsibility. And today, I am lifting the burden. But more than that, I am lifting you. Do not believe the lie that strength means silence. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It's an invitation for my power. When you weep in secret, heaven moves publicly. When you finally say, God, I can't do this, it doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies me. I've longed for this moment, not to punish you, not to scold, but to relieve. You don't need to manage everything. You don't need to know the next 10 steps. You don't need to keep smiling while your soul is suffocating. Bring me the whole weight, all of it. Not just the pretty parts, not just the parts you know how to pray through. Bring me the mess, the mental exhaustion, the emotional chaos, the secret sadness. Let the dam break. Let the tears flow. Because, child, I'm not afraid of your flood. I part seas with it. And now I tell you this as you release. I am sending reinforcement, heavenly engine backup, divine realignment. You are not losing control. You are releasing control. And that's where I do my best work. Watch what happens when you let me be who I've always been. Your burden bearer, your rescuer, your rest. You were never meant to carry this alone. And now you won't have to. Your help is here. Your relief is en route. And the weight that nearly broke you will become the testimony that builds others. I've seen it all, and I'm sending my angels to handle what you no longer have to. You felt that shift, didn't you? That holy breath as angels were dispatched on your behalf. Now I ask you, will you help send that same fire to someone else? There are others still carrying unbearable weight, unaware that good news has been released for them too. When you give, you don't just support a video. You release spiritual oil into the wounds of strangers. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Luke 6:38. I am the God who multiplies seed and makes rivers in the wilderness. With the authority I have placed in your spirit, write these words for all to see. I have opened my good news, and my new life begins now. Let this be your public stone of remembrance, a powerful testament that you have heard my voice. Every declaration is an echo of victory, affirming that you are ready to receive all that I have promised. Amen. So if this message unlocked something in you, unlock the blessing for others through membership or PayPal below.